Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Previously on the Old Ways podcast.
Hi, I'm Maeve O'Shea. I'm here to see Leah.
Why don't you do me a favor, Miss O'Shea? Why don't you tell me who Dr. James Pierce is? And the landscape outside, since you were here last several hours ago, seems to have gotten quite a bit darker. It's now getting on to 7:15. And while you don't have a clock in the room, it's January and in the Northeast, and so it is definitely dark. And it's at that point that all the lights go out in the room. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your Keeper Michael, and I want to welcome you back into another session of the Old Ways podcast does Masks of Nyarlathotep. Okay, so bit of a different session tonight. There's some things that I want to do. So we have not had a investigator improvement session in a little while. So we need to go and have ourselves a good old investigator development phase. And the one way we're going to do that, one of the ways that we're going to do that is we are going to have a scene, a single scene where that kind of takes place. Okay. So here's the, what we would call the deceit of this scene. Okay. So the investigators who were at Dr. Cowell's house have returned to Miskatonic Hotel. And as you are arriving, Miss O'Shea gets out of a car and she is approaching the building at the same time. So that will be our intro scene, as it were.
Miss O'Shea, good to see you up and around.
Yes, thank you.
How are you feeling, Fräulein?
Well rested. Well, I'm getting tired now. It's pretty late.
It has gotten a little late. It's gotten dark. The Hotel Miskatonic has a lounge, and it seems, as you guys enter the hotel, it seems the wood and mahogany colored chairs seem to draw you closer to it. You see that the hotel manager, who was behind the desk earlier, has shoots you a inviting look and kind of motions you with his hand. Thank you for returning. I'd like to invite you to sit with us for a minute.
Definitely join them.
Sure.
So there's a few tables that are out, like any lounge, and there's chairs and couches and etc. The space that he has set up, the things on the table that he has set up in front of you, seem to be. He has a series of glasses set up, and out from under a buffet, he takes a few bottles of wine, and with a slight smile, he says, "We've kept a home vintage here in the hotel for some time, if you would care."
Broad smile.
I've already had a few glasses, but thank you.
I give him a broad smile and an eager nod.
I'd be delighted.
I'd love to hear your story. Everyone has one.
Boy, howdy. And ours is a humdinger, as you say.
He pulls seats around for Miss O'Shea and Miss Lane. He helps you sit, and then he kind of adjusts his suit and vest a bit to look a little bit more formal. And he pours a few glasses. It's not often we get guests from all over. I can just tell by your voice, sir, that you're from Germany.
This is true. I am from Germany. You have a good ear, sir.
We get a fair amount of Germans here in New England, although there's quite a bit more Dutch and English, of course. What brings you to Arkham?
I have family here.
We are investigating things. Something very strange.
Really? He turns to you, Doctor. He seems fairly interested. It wouldn't be that fireball in the sky a few nights ago, would it?
Fireball in the sky?
I had not heard of such a thing. No. What is of this fireball you are speaking?
The paper's only half mentioned it. A couple of lines in the back half of the paper, but back west of town here a few nights ago, there was a ball of fire that came out of the sky and landed somewhere. A couple of boys from the college went to go see if anything had happened. And when they got there, I guess it had landed on some old potato farmer's shack. Now, the shack hadn't been used in months, maybe years, but this, whatever it was, it landed, created a big old crater, and left a fair bit of trees fallen, you know.
They often do with such force hitting the ground.
Well, they took a delivery truck, one of those milk trucks, and managed to get it back into the woods there and picked up quite a bit of the rock, they said it was, and hauled it off to the university.
Did they say who was going to be in charge of researching it?
One of the professors, they said.
Well, did they give a name?
No, they didn't. They were mostly local boys, but I'm sure that in the morning sometime, if you stop back over to university, you might be able to inquire about it.
That would be fascinating. I've never seen a rock that fell from the sky in such a way. That would be amazing.
And I know a couple of professors, so...
You're a bit lucky. There was a event in Russia not so long ago that a rock fell from the sky and leveled an entire forest.
Yeah, I've heard of this. Tunguska, yeah?
I hadn't heard about it. What happened?
Tunguska? This happened, you'd have been a young man. Same thing, a rock fell from the sky, except it left a giant hole in the ground where a forest used to be.
Oh my. A forest, huh?
Everything flat for miles and miles around.
It makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
Well, it makes you wonder. You can build these great cities, you can invent all this amazing stuff, and then when you know it, a rock fall out of the sky and just show you how much of an ant you really are.
This is true. We are but motes of dust.
Ma'am, you said you came here to see family?
Yes, and one of my childhood friends is a professor at the university.
Oh, wonderful. Miskatonic is quite the place. Draws people in all over. You, miss, he turns to you, Miss Lane.
Yes, sir.
I saw you come in earlier.
I did.
You must have a story.
I am on the same adventure as my compatriots here. We are investigating some interesting occurrences. I also attended Miskatonic and obtained my degree here. So this is kind of like revisiting a second home.
Miss Lane, this is your alma mater? I did not know this.
I never mentioned that. So sorry, Doctor. Yes, I attended Miskatonic for the greatest 4 years of my life. That's said a little sarcastically.
Well, it's not for everyone. Academia can be punishing.
So, when you were here at school, did you? Is that how he turns back to you, Miss O'Shea? Is that how you two met?
No, it was a happenstance that she and I had bumped into each other.
Fascinating. He turns around and turns on a record player. You hear some lively jazz music. I'll have to keep it down a little bit. Some of the neighbors around here they don't prefer my musical selection.
It's an excellent choice.
I don't care what Mama don't allow. Go ahead and play this jazz anyhow.
Most people don't approve of the kind of music that I perform either, so it's all right.
You're a performer. I wish I had a stage.
Miss O'Shea, you should grace us with some of your voice.
I haven't been working as of recently, so.
But still.
Oh.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to edit that out.
Sorry.
Wait, why am I editing it out?
that brief moment there where we realize exactly how Maeve's last performance went.
Oh, well, actually, she had a performance after that, I'll have you know.
I did.
And no one died.
It went quite well.
Yeah, and I made a lot of money.
Oh, did you? Okay. I think I was not here for that one.
Well, this was back in season 1.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even technically open the show yet. This is great. It just goes to show you I can do whatever I want. Okay. Because I think at this point, if our listeners are in, they already know who you all are. But we'll get to introductions in a second. The hotel manager tops the rest of your glasses off and kind of caps the bottle and puts it back in the buffet where it's securely locked. And he says, "The lounge is yours for the rest of the evening. I hope you folks enjoy it. Places like this where you can come and rest and maybe even reflect aren't, they don't come around very often. If you need anything, I'll be behind the desk over there."
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your hospitality is a wonder.
Dankeschön, Herr.
You're welcome. And Gesundheit. He walks off. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a bit of investigator recovery and advancement. So the idea of this is we're going to see what the characters have gone through and then kind of where they go, but we're going to do it in a bit of a unique way. So all of my investigators, your cast, have their character sheets with them, and what they're going to do is they're going to just kind of go through really quickly and see the skills that they've successfully prepared to advance. We're going to make those rolls, and then when you go for your advancement, what I want you to think, folks, what I want you to think of is when you use the skill last, I want you to think about what spurred you to use it and what you gained from that successful use. And we'll kind of riff a bit about the story as it's progressed since the last advancement. So I need someone to pick on. Who would like to go first?
If we go in traditional order,
Yeah, you would be first.
this is Lonnie. He's Mr. Lawrence Edward Oliver Forsyth.
Correct. So, Mr. Forsyth, you, if we look at your skills, just by looking at them, I see that your archaeology dot has been highlighted.
Yes, well, we were looking at relics at the Juju house,
Mm-hmm.
the ill-fated Juju house.
That's right.
It was full of bad juju.
You and the doctor and Maeve were also looking at the burnished copper bowl recently.
Yes, which is a very strange piece of... It's a very strange piece to find connected to what we know about the cult of the bloody tongue.
Correct. So the way this works as far as skill advancement goes, just to kind of refresh everybody's memory, so we have this development phase. What you're going to do is you're going to roll a skill check on that simple 1d100. And succeeding at something you are good at is difficult. So the higher the skill, right?
Yep.
The harder it is to advance. So they give a perfect example here in the Call of Cthulhu core book. A game finishes after a couple of sessions of play, and Harvey has checks against several skills. Harvey's player rolls his stealth skill of 20%. She rolls 8, and so Harvey does not improve the ability because she actually succeeded the roll. She then uses library use, 55% for a result of 68. Harvey's skill has improved, and then after it's improved, it improves by 1d10. So the idea technically here is that you want to fail this roll, quote unquote, so that way you can advance. So just go ahead and roll your archaeology skill.
I made a hard success. I rolled a 7.
Right. So your archaeology skill is not going to advance because you succeeded. The idea is to actually fail that roll to go over so you can advance it, but that's okay. What do we have up next?
Well, we have Brawl.
We do. Can you think of a time recently that Lawrence maybe used his Brawl skill?
Well, I've used it a few times because I'm a peaceful and non-violent person. But recently, it was at the Juju house, engaged in desperate combat with a man with a knife.
I do remember that scene. You had been set upon there in the first floor of the Juju house with multiple thugs there of the bloody tongue, and they were ready to kill as quickly as they possibly could, and you managed to fend them off. So if you'd like to make a brawl roll.
And that's another hard success.
Yeah.
21 under 55.
The advancement dice are not with you tonight, sir. At least not so far, but that's okay because you have several more. We have not had an advancement session in a little while, so I can see all the dots. So yeah, next would be your handgun skill. And
Yes,
Lord knows you've used that.
Look, it's not my... Well, I mean, I guess it is my fault, but, you know...
Is it somebody else pulling the trigger?
When there's cultists with swords, whether they're on a railing trying to escape or they're in a doorway trying to come to you, sometimes you just need to convince them to stop breathing. It's just a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I rolled 46 under 60, so... But it's hard to improve skills you're good at.
Yeah. And, you know, a 60% skill is, I mean, competency for a profession is 50%. So
Yeah.
that's what they consider it. So you would be a more than competent if your core investigator occupation was pistols. It's obviously not, but that's okay. And so we drop then to first aid. We're going to get one, I promise. We'll get one. We'll get an advanced one out of you yet.
You think so now? I'm getting all the successes out of the way before I have to roll them to actually do things in game.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, first aid. I helped Mr. Doyle. Mr. Doyle had a minor injury at the Juju house.
Yes, Mr. Doyle, who cannot be with us, at least for the moment tonight, but he may pop in at some point. That's okay.
And I succeed, so yeah, no improvement there again.
That's amazing. I don't think I've seen this before. That's
let's keep going. You know, I'm going to be honest here. I see intimidate checked. I'm not sure when I successfully intimidated somebody. It must have been many sessions ago. Oh, or was it when we interrogated the head of the Juju house?
Yep, absolutely. So you would have succeeded on that roll versus Silas and Kwane, but he was not in the mental state where he could be
reached.
Yeah, no, he was out to lunch, so to speak.
Hey, I failed for once. I rolled a 67.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. Okay, so what I'm going to do as the keeper is I'm going to roll d10 for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you are going to advance your intimidate by 6.
Okay, I don't think I can edit it though.
Actually, hang on. Watch this. Roll 20 gives me the ability just to jump right into edit mode.
All right, so
And then-
therefore my intimidate is now there. All right.
All right. As we go, library use.
Yes, we've been doing quite a bit of research at various places, medical houses and libraries. Most recently here in Arkham.
You were in the library here at the university.
Yeah, I found some of Jackson Elias's books. I was,
Excellent.
you know,
All right. So give us a roll.
I succeeded.
Yeah. A new streak begins.
But I'm competent, so
Yes, absolutely,
I can
you
deal
are.
with it.
So listen.
Yeah, I've heard lots of things. Some I didn't want to hear. Had I not heard something downstairs, I might not have went down and seen a thing for the first time in this campaign.
Yeah, well, we knew we were going to get a big sand loss out of you at some point. You're due.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I failed that.
Big stand loss. Come on.
Yeah,
Good.
hey, look, I don't have a lot to start with, okay, lady?
Yeah, and yeah, Maeve throwing around the big sanity losses here. Like, yeah.
All right. Well, you gain a single point of listen. So there you are, sir. And now mechanical repair. I remember the last time you used this.
Yeah, there was a thing coming out of a hole in the ground with a well cover on it, and
Yes.
and I thought it was best to let sleeping things lie with way too many mouths, and I failed that. 91.
That's good
That is good.
in this sense.
Yeah.
Ooh, and you gain 8 points of mechanical repair. That is very good.
Oh yes.
We might see some other fun rolls tonight. Okay, and then 2 more. So you've got persuade.
I actually managed to talk somebody into something, and I don't even remember this because my persuade skill is so bad. I really don't remember where that happened. But yeah, so let's do this thing. Yeah, I failed that, and that's not hard. I have a 10 skill in persuade. It's gonna be easy to beat
It's going to be easy. And I think one of the beauties of this system is that when you create an investigator, you've got that ability to bring up lower skills that you kind of put points into to occasionally use, and it can help build up the investigator fairly easy. As long as your keeper is, reasonable with the advancement sessions. All right,
Yeah.
so your persuade now goes to 15.
Okay,
And then
that's
the
good.
last but not least, the skill you probably don't want to go up, spot hidden.
No. Spot hidden. You still need to see things. Ambushes, clues hidden in bookshelves and that sort of thing.
Dark young.
Yes, but I succeeded. 26 under 45. So.
All right, I am also going to roll 1d10,
Mhm.
and you are going to add it to your luck pool.
Ooh.
So that is 9 points of luck that you are going to get. So that's nice for you, right?
Yeah, I kind of need to refresh it a little bit.
Yep, there's your luck refresh. Okay, sir, you are set.
Yay!
And so directly to your right would normally be Miss Lane.
Yep, this is Lillian Lee. To say played by Morgan, so played by me.
All right, Miss Lane, let's talk about your skill use and your grand charming abilities.
Yes, I don't have quite as many skills apparently to go through as Mr. Forsyth did because I'm a newbie to the group. So here we go. My first one is charm, and I'm pretty sure I used that at the Juju house to try to charm the now deceased or disappeared owner wherever he might be.
I think you tried to use it twice. I think you tried to use it on him, and I think it worked. And I think you also, if I remember correctly, tried to charm or persuade. Maybe it was persuade at that point, but there was one attempt that was made against Jack to try to calm Jack down.
Yeah, that didn't work so well.
Right. But you're a charming individual. It's probably a skill you've wielded quite often. So if you want to go ahead and roll your charm, we'll see what happens.
And I get a 48 out of 65, so I shall not pass.
No, you shall not pass. No direct advancement just yet. And now we go to the next skill in your social armament, and that would be Intimidate.
Yes, one of the first times I utilized that skill was with Lieutenant Poole, telling him I was going to talk to his captain, and he might have wet his pants a little bit, but I'm not sure.
I think so. I think he was a little bit concerned that something bad was going to happen to him with you wielding your verbal cudgel. So go ahead and give me an Intimidate roll, and we'll see what happens.
And I shall not pass that either. I mean, I passed, but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, your Intimidate's 80, so totally understandable. Maybe you wouldn't pass those. Okay, next one on the list for you is Listen.
Yes. I think the last time I utilized that might have been on the train ride that we just took.
Mm-hmm.
To try to keep an ear out. It comes in handy, so
It does.
take a peek. Got an extreme success, which means I did not improve that skill.
I'd like to point out that we have never had this many successes in a row with our actual during game.
Yeah, this is actually a crafty little ploy by me to get all your hard and extreme rolls out while we can.
Right.
Okay, so for the moment, that is your skills that you have for advancement at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll a d10, and you're going to add 3 points to your luck, bringing it back up to a 65.
Great.
So we got a little bit more luck for you, Miss Lane, and we'll keep you there for the moment. Okay, so again, to your right would normally be Jack. Mr. Doyle's not with us this evening, at least up until this point. So we're going to scoot directly to his right and go to Dr. Tottenbach.
That's right, James, playing Dr. Tottenbach. So the first dot that I have on my experience point Christmas tree here is Charm. I don't remember exactly when I used... Oh, no, wait, no, I do. When we got the folder for... we got the medical folder of Dr. Houston, I think was his name. But
yeah, Dr. Huston, Houston.
Dr. Huston,
There's no O. Yeah,
right. Oh, so Huston,
but...
Dr. Huston. I believe that was when I used the charm, and it was a long shot.
Yes, you charmed the the attending medical physician at the Board of Medicine of NYC, and were able to get into the office where his files were, and that ended up actually being quite enlightening.
Yeah, that was fairly important. I'm going to go ahead and roll. I succeeded, a hard success, in fact, 14 under 35, so no charm there.
No, it does not advance this time. That's okay. We have Fast Talk as our next one, so...
Fast Talk, I think, was also when we were getting that folder. I think that was the time I was using basically the 2-ply of Charm and Fast Talk to try to get my way in, even though I was pretty untrained in both. So Fast Talk, I will roll. Hard success, so no advancement there. That's okay. The dice gods have been... Is this smiling on us? I'm not sure if that's what this is.
No, I mean, this is the point. If there's any point within Call of Cthulhu where you want to fail skill rolls so that you can get things advanced, this is the time you want it.
Right. So my next dot would be in medicine.
Yeah, it's an 82 right now.
Failing that is going to be not that easy. So 82. I got an extreme success on that, a 9 under an 82. So there is no advancement there. But can I save that 9? Can we just? No. Can I pocket that? I would sleeve that like in Deadlands.
Right. Yeah, no, this is not Deadlands. You're not allowed to sleeve it. But maybe if there's ever a Deadlands game, you can kind of transpose and
Look at it. Look on the bright side. Your rolls are going lower and lower. When you get to 0, you'll do like Gandhi and wrap around to 255.
I come back around I come back all the way around.
Right.
The next one would be psychology.
Yep, currently a 75.
Psychology, I don't remember the exact. I remember I was trying to see if somebody was lying, and I was using psychology.
It was last session, actually. So it's last session. It's Dr. Cowles. You were trying to determine whether or not he was being truthful with you.
That's right. And it was a success. So I'm going to go ahead and roll.
Oh, wow.
Can I spend unluck?
No, 73 out of 75. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to spend unluck. But yeah, I think
the last one is my UB. Oh, go ahead. You were saying you think?
No, I was just going to say I think it's fascinating that you've succeeded in all these roles.
In everything so far. My last one is my spot hidden, and that one is we use that one fairly regularly. So I want to say that was in the basement of the Juju house, either in the basement or in the back room of the Juju house.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe on the train ride here.
That is also a possibility with the people that we were sure or not sure that were trailing us or some such.
Mm-hmm.
31 under 70, so a stunning success. So no success there.
I gotta tell you, this is your string of scroll rolls are pretty amazing.
That was fantastic, and a 2 for my luck.
You do. You get 2 points of luck back, but your luck is actually pretty good. It's 67, so you've got a fair amount of luck right now.
Yeah. It's not. I can't complain. I'm not going to complain.
Okay, and as we always say, or as I always say, last but most certainly not least, that would be Miss O'Shea.
Yes.
So let's talk, Miss O'Shea. You've got some skills here to raise potentially. We'll start amazingly with Brawl.
I believe that was at the Juju house.
That makes sense to me.
Oh, yeah, with the creature.
Right. Yeah, because you had to use Brawl to try to... You used Brawl to connect to hit it, and then were able to manage to pull your leg free from the, 5-year-old girl that was trying to nibble on your ankle?
Right.
Yeah, no, not creepy at all. So if you'd like to go ahead and just roll Brawl...
I did, and I failed. Woo woo!
Did. So, we're going to add a full 10 points of Brawl. That's a nice little up for you. Yeah, can't what to tell you. Okay, so before...
Mr. Diamond, Maeve is hogging all the skills.
Yeah.
No, I have some really high ones that I'm definitely not going to raise. So...
This is when she's going to roll like a 99 on library use.
Right.
Anyway, so the next skill would be first aid. So Maeve isn't known as a first aid-y sort of person, which I find is interesting because her first aid skill is pretty high. She probably has one of the highest next to the doctor in the party. Or group.
No.
No raise there. So next would be the aforementioned library use. So as the prophets have said, you did fail the library use roll with a 95. Oh, and you get a 9-point raise in library use, bringing your library use to 89, which is 1 away from the magic number. So for those of you scoring at home who might not be aware because you just kind of listen to the show and maybe you haven't really cracked the book and gotten in the system very much. Once an investigator skill gets to 90, they're considered a master. They've gained mastery in that skill, and they actually gain back sanity because they've come to the some sort of epiphany, some sort of understanding about who they are and their raw human ability. And if anybody in this group could use to get back 2d6 sanity, it would be Miss O'Shea. Okay, next up, occult. So when is the last time you used occult?
When I went insane temporarily.
Yeah, you used occult. You read a book, Africa's Dark Sex. You got a little too deep into that book, and all of a sudden things in Miss Lane's apartment were burning, and you decided to strip out of your clothes and cover yourself in burned pieces of ash. Who knows? It's all a blur at this point, and you've...
It was all a dream.
Sure it was.
She got all Britney.
Just a little, right?
I didn't shave my head.
Oh, that's next.
Right.
Actually, I shaved your head. Sorry.
Yeah, no occult.
Yeah, that's a hard success. Not going to happen with an 83 skill, though, is pretty darn good. So let's talk Persuade. When's the last time Miss O'Shea used Persuade?
I think it was when I knocked over the shelves to make it seem like an accident.
Ah, yes, the aforementioned junk in the trunk scene.
Yes.
Where you hip shaked your way into crashing the Juju house down around everybody.
And that is a no.
That is also a hard success. Amazing. It's multiple ones right in a row. All right, so Spot Hidden, 68. When's the last time you used Spot Hidden? How was it used?
I used it when I was leaving the other side of the river, and I saw the thing in the sky.
Yes, your fellow investigators do not know about that. That would be an interesting story to tell tonight.
Yeah. So that would be the last time I used it. Oh, so close.
Yep, 65 out of 65 out of 68. So, ooh, yeah, Miss O'Shea gets 10 points of luck back.
Yay.
That is really good.
You call it luck, but the way it works, we should be calling it like skill grease.
Skill grease.
Well, because we don't play full pulp, you guys don't get in a full pulp game. You would get 1d10 luck back every session. And so since we play kind of a hybrid version of the pulp rules, you benefit, and then there are benefits and downsides to it. If Jack was here and he was doing his skill up, he has the lucky pulp talent, so he regains an additional d10 luck points. So he'll get 2d10 when we do his raises, which is nice. Okay, so that is your skill raises for those of you who got them. For those of you who didn't, maybe better luck next time. And so yeah, I think we'll draw the kind of the scene back up here, and we return to our investigators who are now kind of sitting around the fireplace in the Hotel Miskatonic, and they've met back up with Miss O'Shea, who seemingly is not is ambulatory again. Last time they saw her, she was passed out on a hotel bed. So have at it.
It is wonderful to see you up and around again, Miss O'Shea. And you are welcome, of course, to join us. Pull her a chair out.
I will sit down. So how did everything go today?
It was interesting, to say the least. We had dinner with a professor.
Was it the one that was giving the lecture?
As a matter of fact, it was a very nice Australian man and his daughter, who didn't quite seem so keen to have us around, but kept up the pleasantries.
To be fair,
Around is that she is very beautiful.
She is. She is. I mean, if I'm okay to judge that, yeah.
He also seemed quite interested in if we were headed to Australia at any certain point.
Yes, he was. He very much. It's like he was kind of urging us to go to Australia. Professor Cowles.
That's his name.
What's in Australia?
apparently there was a cult there.
Well, there are many cults all over the world. If we go chasing cults, it will never end. I will tell you that now.
It was an Aboriginal cult. It was cult of the Sandbat.
And evidently, whatever it was important enough to Jackson that he had plans to at least attend Dr. Colley's lecture. He did not talk with Dr. Colley, but he did attend the lecture, I gather.
So he's saying that Jackson wanted to go to Australia as well?
Yes, Jackson had corresponded with him.
That is what it seemed like.
Just for clarity, record's sake, Dr. Cowles had never actually spoken to Jackson Elias.
Correct.
But the doctor did tell you guys that he was familiar with him and had read several of his books.
Yeah, he even pulled out some of his books while we were at dinner. But yeah, he was very informative about the cult of the sand bats, and they'd been in Australia for centuries. They believed in a large bat that they had to make sacrifices to make them worthy. This thing was called this being was called the father of all bats, and making these sacrifices to make them worthy would give them like a godlike stature. Yeah. So
I'm gonna look at the other compatriots besides Lillian and be like, this sounds familiar. Just replace bat with snake.
Exactly.
I'm just putting that out there.
It does. I was thinking the same thing. It sounds very familiar. Not only that, but Carlyle's dream this also has sounds like that.
So what is this about the snake now? Mr. Carlyle's dream, I definitely saw the correlation, but the snake?
It was a previous run-in with a previous monster.
That was a snake?
Yes, but huge.
Very huge. Like
god of snakes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So was that its name? Or that's what it went by?
No, it was the finger of Yig.
I have no idea what these people are talking about.
What? You were there.
Never saw a thing.
he didn't see a thing.
Oh, that's true. His back was to the whole thing. Right.
I can back you up, Maeve. I did see it.
So did this snake god have people sacrificing on their behalf?
Yes.
And where was this at?
In Chicago.
Oh. Seems like you had quite the adventure in Chicago.
Yes.
It was something, that's to be sure.
Seems like these gods have a lot of the same wants and needs. I mean, what if it was all the same god, just playing different parts?
It's possible. Except for where is it summoning these creatures from, or is it messing with our minds?
Right.
So maybe all of these things are just fragments of something that's bigger?
Perhaps.
Maybe they have a boss that they report to. I use boss in a fluid term. Like maybe there's a god.
I refuse to call anything that I have seen so far a god. As far as I'm concerned, there is only one, and it's not that.
Well, I'm using lowercase g when I refer to these things.
Fantastic, Fräulein.
So where is our next move after here? How long are we staying?
Well, we have to go back to Miss Carlyle's to Miss Carlyle's estate. Mike, what's the date today?
It's currently January 22nd, 1925.
And the party's in 2 days or 1 day?
Yeah, the party is in 2 days.
Oh, so we have some time.
The party is on the 24th.
I also want to bring up too that we may want to go to London as well.
Well, there's London, which is where the Carlisle expedition stopped before they went to Kenya.
Not only that, our chronometer is set for London time. I also may or may not find a connection in London.
Well, we don't have time between now and the party to go to London, Egypt, Shanghai, and Australia.
No, I mean
Yeah, no, I think that's a good place to start after Miss Carlisle's party.
Yeah, is everybody going to that shindig?
No, Mr. Forsyth will not be attending.
You just don't want.
Okay.
Miss Lane will be attending, and I'm assuming Mr. Doyle will be attending as well.
Mr. Doyle has to go to the shindig. That is half.
He does.
That is half of the ploy.
Yes, he needs to go lay on the charm.
We need that diary. I believe it holds clues for us.
Miss Carlisle seems to have taken a shine to our boy Jack.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we going next?
I say London.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to start there and then head east.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, we could go London and then trace backwards the expedition. It also depends on what kind of information we get from Miss Carlisle. We do have a few things that do point us towards London. Now, what we're going to do when we get there, I don't know.
We also have clues that point us. Of course, the Carlisle expedition perished in the area of Mombasa, but that seems more of an end point of our investigation. But we also have the matchbox and the photograph from Singapore.
Shanghai.
Right, but remember that we got a piece from our investigation that it was something that said that one of the Carlisle expedition people was not dead. That they showed up somewhere else.
Who is that?
I remember reading a letter or an article or something that said one of them, somebody said that they saw him somewhere or he wasn't actually dead.
Oh, Nails Nelson saw Jack Brady alive in Hong Kong
Right.
in 1922.
Jack Brady?
I mean, you guys have the characters have the physical evidence, so they can actually, they can pass these notes around and like look at them.
Yeah. The doctor refills everyone's glasses.
Good man.
Does this place serve food as well?
It
While
does.
they're all looking at stuff and discussing, I'll call a waitress over and supply us with combustibles.
There isn't so much a waitress, but when you like look, kind of poke your head up from the discussion, and you see that the hotel manager is making his way back over. Okay, is there something you need, sir?
I was just wondering if it would be too much trouble to perhaps have some sandwiches brought over or something, a bit of a libation. We are putting alcohol on nothing, and it is not bound to end well, my friend.
Of course, sir. I will have something brought out to you. I'll have a selection brought out to you.
Wunderbar, my friend. Thank you so much.
A few minutes later, you can get a large tray that has some small like wedge sandwiches, and you get vegetables and cheese and that sort of thing, just to kind of
like
put
crudité platter.
Yeah, and there's also like a relish part to it.
Excellent. I put them on the table and encourage people to dig in while we discuss.
Just for clarification for my notes, did they say that who saw Jack Brady in China in 1922?
Person named Nails. Nelson.
God, what a name.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of potential things, places you could go next, but at least from what the summation of what I'm hearing is, the plan is to stop at the Carlisle estate. And either, are you guys talking about maybe stopping at the Carlisle estate and meeting with her before the party, or trying to meet with her during the party? Is that the idea?
Well, I assume during. I mean, that was the invite.
Yeah, I think we were just we were discussing like during, but perhaps not when she's greeting everyone once the party is going and she's just, kind of supervising what's going on.
Sure. So I guess the only thing I would say to that is, Miss Lane, being of the upper crust of society, you would probably feel anyway that if someone did that to you, it would be rude, because she's there as a focal point. She's trying to be accommodating to all her guests. And the concern you might have is, especially with somebody who is as socially agile as Erica Carlisle, you would not want to upset her, especially after you worked really hard to get to talk to her.
Then my suggestion to maintain social etiquette would be to talk to her after the party instead of before the party, because she's probably getting ready for the party and everything prior to that, since it's an early morning brunch get together.
You do have the contact information on you for Gray, her assistant, and maybe it's a situation where if you got on the train tomorrow morning, you might be able to get back to New York later that afternoon and see her before the party.
Okay. That,
if we could see her before the party, then that would be most helpful.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ring her now. I'm off like a herd of turtles.
Isn't it pretty late, though, to be ringing?
Yeah, what time is it?
It's what, probably 7, so 8. It's 8. It's not that late.
Okay.
I mean, if it was 8:30, 9 o'clock, then probably yes, but...
She's probably having a drink or something, like a cocktail.
Wow. Lillian with the shade.
She's probably jumping into a massive pit of money.
Like Scrooge McDuck.
Well, okay, so the Carlisle estate, essentially, and businesses manage import-export, transportation, meaning railroad, and then munitions. So how much money do you think Eric Carlisle has? A lot.
Most of it, yeah.
She's not as rich as, say, the Lane family, but she's,
Yeah, you make jokes about Scrooge McDuck. She gets paid in Scrooge McDuck vaults.
All right, Miss Lane, you stop over to the hotel manager's desk, and he says, how can I assist you?
Hi, I would like to ring an associate of mine, if that's okay.
Absolutely. If you just duck around the corner, there is a phone. Would you like me to make the connection? Is it local or is it somewhere else?
It is in New York, so I apologize. It is long distance.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. He walks around and kind of meets you halfway where the phone is and picks up the receiver and taps on the metal handle a few times, and you can hear him. You see him talking to the horn, and he says, I need New York City, please. And then he kind of bops back and forth for a few seconds and then eventually hands the receiver to you. The operator is waiting.
Hello, I need you to ring the Erica Carlisle residence, please.
Erica Carlisle, yes. You hear her a long pause over the phone. May I tell Miss Carlisle who's calling?
This is Lillian Lane.
Very good. Of course, Miss Lane. And then you hear a bunch of clicks. And then you hear the phone ring and ring. And after probably about good 4 or 5 rings, you hear a male voice pick up. Steady, but a bit soft. Carlisle residence.
Hello, this is Lillian Lane. I was wondering if I could speak to Miss Erica Carlisle.
Ah, Miss Lane. This is Mr. Gray. Good to hear from you.
Mr. Gray, how are you doing?
I am well. We are in full preparation, of course. If you give me just a moment, I'll see if Miss Carlisle is available.
Thank you so much.
A few moments pass, and you can kind of hear a little bit of background noise shifting on the other side of the phone. And within probably a minute or so, you hear the soft and feminine voice of Erica Carlisle. Lillian, how are you, my dear?
I am doing very well. I am looking forward to your get-together in a couple days. Mr. Doyle is looking forward to that as well.
Yes. How is your Mr. Doyle?
He is doing well. He's been kind of pondering about what to wear, so been kind of guiding him in that nature because he's not used to our world. So,
No, of course not. He's a rough stone, just needs a bit of shaping and smoothing. We understand.
Yes, but I appreciate you taking my call so late.
No, it's no trouble at all for you, Lillian. What seems to be the need?
Well, I was wondering if you might be able to sit down and have a chat prior, not the day of your party, of your get together, of course. We would not want to impose, but maybe tomorrow afternoon, if you had a brief half an hour or an hour to meet with myself and Jack. We had a couple items we wanted to discuss with you, like based on the subject that we were discussing at our previous meeting.
Oh, of course. Yes, I'll have Gray write you in. I don't have many. I'm not taking many calls tomorrow, so that should be fine. Is it just you and Jack, or?
I might have a couple of our associates come as well, if that's okay. They won't be a bother whatsoever. They're just.
You're quite all right. It's with Roger gone and the rest of his cadre over the years. This estate is pretty quiet, so I've got more than enough space. Just it won't be a bother.
Fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time. What time should we call upon you tomorrow?
Anytime in the afternoon should be just fine. Say 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock will be perfect.
Well, wonderful. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
You too. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Of course. She hangs up.
I think I hand the phone back to the manager and thank him for letting me utilize it.
Yeah. You head back to your fellow investigators, and it seems that the sandwich tray is being a bit dominated by Sigmund, who's trying to make up for the maybe some of the drinks he's had.
I'm telling you, Miss O'Shea, Germany is headed for a very bad and dangerous way. I met some very unfortunate people in my time, and you know what? I think maybe I should have another sandwich.
I informed the group that that Miss Carlisle will be is willing to meet with us tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Wunderbar, Miss Lane. Thank you very much. You are most kind.
But she is very open to having all of us in her house tomorrow afternoon and to meet and discuss Roger's expedition.
Wunderbar. I wish we had I wish I had known you for so many more years, Miss Lane. You seem to have a knack for getting things done. I appreciate that. Efficiency, you see.
Well, Doctor, it's my pleasure. At least I can offer something to the table.
I offer you a sandwich. Here you are.
You sure can. I will take a sandwich. Thank you. Thank you for not eating them all, so I can at least have one.
Yes, I could not finish all of them.
Maeve, you start doing a little bit of mathematical calculations in your head.
Mm-hmm.
The ride back to New York is going to take you it's going to take you some time. You actually don't really remember how long it took to get up here. You were just somewhat semi-conscious on the train. You know that there are early trains that go back to New York. So you'll probably have to get in to see your mother pretty early if you're going to say bye to her.
That's what I was thinking.
The evening continues on.
I wonder how late the exhibition for that rock that fell from the sky is open. Or if it is an exhibition at all, I wonder if we could get in to see it. I'm fascinated by that concept.
Probably not tonight. At least the one professor that I know that could probably get us in to see it, he's been at home.
Ah, I see. Oh, well.
She's all like, I know he's home. I'm not going to tell you why I know that, but.
Nope.
James, you're sitting there and you've got the glass in your hand and you've got, you think you've probably had enough wine at this point. And you've had a few sandwiches to try to counteract that. You can kind of feel the gods of sleep getting ready to call you over. And it's at that point that you suddenly remember that you saw Miss Lane and Miss O'Shea, because you saw them in the dream you'd had. It snaps to your attention because the three of you were sitting in the exact kind of cardinal points that you were in the dream, and a flood of that dream comes running back into your head.
Without preamble, I look at both Miss O'Shea and Miss Lane, and I just mumble the words, "Did we ever save him from the gunshot wound, or did he die?"
Just look over at him, and I believe he died.
I'm going to look at both of them like they were insane.
Which
What?
is totally understandable until you start hearing and replaying in your head what the doctor said.
Oh, I'm sure.
And you remember being in the library on the couch and chasing someone out of a house, and then a gunshot and someone lying on the floor. And I'd like you to make me a POW roll, all three of you.
I was going to say, I was still going to look at them like they're crazy. They don't
That's
need
fine.
to know that I had this. They already think I'm crazy.
5 under 65.
Mine was just a hard 14 out of 50.
42 out of 50.
Okay, so Miss Lane, I'll take it from least to great in the sense of a success. So you pass the POW roll. You have some of the same memories of the man who was shot. You trying to help him, trying to keep the blood and guts from coming out of his stomach. Miss O'Shea, you remember the ribbon in your pocket. You remember the doctor asking for the ribbon to try to save his life, and you not wanting to give it and instead tearing the hem of your skirt. And Doctor, you remember the badge that was in the hat. And you remember 037, the badge number. You can see it in your mind's eye.
037.
And you look at your hand, and you can almost see the badge still there. It's almost an overlay in your mind's eye. And you look beyond your hand, and you can see the man as clear as day in your memory. And the man lying on the courtyard ground is Martin Poole.
It's Detective Poole.
What?
I don't know why, and I don't know how, but I think it's Detective Poole, 037. I bet anything, any amount of money, that is his badge number.
Well, we already suspected that he was killed off before we left, considering we hadn't heard from him and he was helping us. And now all of a sudden we're getting a bunch of pushback from the department.
But Jack talked to him, well, supposedly talked to him. I don't know if he actually confirmed it was him by getting information only Lieutenant Poole would know. But he talked to him prior to us coming out here.
Did he?
Well, supposedly. I like I said, he didn't get I don't know if he got a confirmation.
He spoke to someone.
He said he got a confirmation.
Okay.
Well, the only thing he did was that he just said, I don't think he got a confirmation in the way that you think he got a confirmation, though. He just talked to somebody on the phone.
He got a confirmation that there was someone at his desk. He did not get a confirmation
Right.
that there was someone named Detective Poole at his desk.
Out of character, he did talk to Poole.
Right, but Poole didn't know who it
That's it.
was. So Poole should have known his voice, out of character. Poole should have known his voice. And when Poole asked who it was, Jake just said, concerned citizen, and hung up the phone.
I took it in that moment as Poole being coy about the fact that, he told us all to leave town.
Oh, I know. I'm still not convinced that was Poole, but I mean, that's neither here, because he was gone from work for a day. But that's Morgan's thoughts, not Lillian's thoughts.
What is it? I wonder if he's maybe in danger then. I mean, we have seen many stranger things than a dream to tell the future.
Yeah, which is good. Well, that maybe we can actually confirm that Poole is still alive, like face to face.
Well, for now, it's probably best that the investigators join Mr. Doyle in getting some sleep. So what we're going to do is close the show down here, and you'll all join Mr. Doyle in getting a good night's sleep before your return to New York City and the estate of Erica Carlisle. Okay? So I want to thank everybody for joining us for this session. I think it was something a little different. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Gives you a good recap of some of the clues. And as we go through Chaosium's Masks of Nyarlathotep. So thank you all for joining us tonight.